Everyone secretly hates Georgia and doubts them every step of the way! Exclamation mark. Hopefully they can beat Vandy this year. That was our buddy Kirk Herbstreit up at the top of the screen here. I wish I could make it easier for y'all to see. Talking in jest about the Dogs, replying to Reese Davis, who, hey, listen, y'all, we all do this. We're all in this business. When you post something on Twitter, fans are going to come after you. It's what it is. No one's doubting Georgia. I don't think that we need to have so much sarcasm from Kirk on this matter, but maybe he's getting annoyed by it. I hope it is, in all seriousness, like maybe a distraction from what the Herbstreits are dealing with the health of their son. But back to the point of me doing this video. This whole routine gets old from everybody. I mean, nobody's doubting Georgia. Nobody's, that I have to say, I think it's a really, and I'm not talking about Kirk here necessarily. I'll get back to him in a second, but like this, everybody thinks, Georgia was the number one team in the country like the whole year last year. They were the defending national champions. They're going to come into this season as the number one team in the country as well. So, I wish that the players on the team would not do the everybody's doubting us routine. I gotta say that's it's just so dumb, or it's overplayed. Dumb is probably the wrong word. I also think that if you're as good and as powerful as Georgia, you should win national championships. Now you shouldn't win it every single season, but I also know that there's guys have to motivate themselves. Athletes have to motivate themselves. Michael Jordan did this. But it is disingenuous. And if you think everybody's out to get you, maybe that's, I just don't think that's the proper level to be at. You have to know what you're getting into. And Georgia is getting into a season where they certainly can win another national championship, but they're going to have to play well all the time. I do think they'll beat Vanderbilt. This is a tweet from Kirk about what Reese Davis said, who Reese says everybody is more than, quote, giving Georgia a chance. Just because I want to see the quarterback before I rank them number one instead of 2 or 3 is hardly insulting. It's amusing to see things like fabricated 7 and 5 picks. Everybody knows they could send the third team out there and go 7 and 5 or way better. They could hang in there. I don't know if they'd have a winning record with their 13th string team, but Georgia's a very good program, and everybody knows it, and Reese knows it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with what Reese said to begin with, frankly. Anyway, pick up Double Dogs. This promo is going to run out soon. Pick up Double Dogs today. You'll get our 2023 preview. You can read the preview from folks who are on the ground every single day, which is us. And I think Kirk does a great job, but he's not in Athens all the time. So some of the nuance that we get into, a lot of the other folks don't. And that's fine. That's not their job. Well, it is ours. And that's why you should take advantage of that. That link is down below. But I do the faded breath that we used to have to listen to from Dabo Swinney was one of the most annoying things that I can remember. I have to say, I don't recall, and someone can post this if they recall it or have proof of it. I don't recall Nick Saban at Alabama feeling bad for himself whenever people didn't think they'd win the national championship. Now, most of the time they did think, people did think Alabama would win the national championship. Georgia shouldn't give one shit what people think about what happens on the field. They shouldn't care at all. They should go out there and whip people's asses, period. And if you need what Reese Davis is saying to motivate you, you're going to get your ass beat anyway. Now, that's not what's going on here, but I understand that, this whole thing was drummed up a year ago about how, nobody thinks we can win. And I just got to tell you, having done this for as long as I have, that is one of the most played out, annoying, non-stories ever. You are at Georgia. You should be winning, period. I don't feel sorry for you. No one does. You should win. Period. End of sentence. So when now you're letting Kirk Herbstreit get in here and get his elbow off the top rope. Everyone secretly hates Georgia. Well, y'all, I mean, like, I don't think that tweet was really necessary because every college fan base is like this. I mean, Tennessee, Clemson is insufferable at times. Alabama, right now Florida is doing the whole we're being doubted. Yeah, by me. I am doubting you. Why don't you go win a game that matters? Um, Auburn, I guess. Auburn's kind of the kings of this. They invented this. But like my entire process in all of this is that we've definitely hit the point where we need to see some football because we got 6 weeks or whatever it is until then. But you know, between it's definitely become, and I don't mean everything that happened yesterday at Georgia and has happened lately is silly season, but we've definitely hit the doldrums of the summer, and that I am now focusing on what Kirk Herbstreit is saying about what Reese Davis says shows where we are in the summer. But don't worry, we're not that far away, and Georgia will be the number one team in the country coming into this thing. I mean, you know, they have proven over and over again that they are the best program in the country right now and the best team in the country. Now, that doesn't mean that they will necessarily win the national championship, but I have to say, after saying a season ago that I felt like it should be Alabama and Ohio State in the national championship game, and I felt like Georgia was the third or fourth, I can't remember. But Georgia was top 5 for sure. I feel that's kind of low coming into this thing a year ago, and then they won the national championship. So I don't think that I don't know who you could put over them and intellectually be honest about it right now. I think you can make the case for Michigan, which I think is what Reese is probably saying here is, hey, I'm comfortable with it. This is me putting my spin on what Reese is saying. He's saying I'm not comfortable with Georgia's quarterback because I've not seen him. I've seen JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy's really good, and I think that JJ McCarthy could be better in the fall, and that's why I think I'd put him number one. He's not talking about putting Georgia 15th, and then that allows for the the stuff from Kirk, who, again, I mean, you can tell they get annoyed with this stuff. Well, we get annoyed with it when we hear it, all the time from other programs too. I guess Kirk Herbstreit does this with other folks. I don't monitor Kirk's Twitter page, so I couldn't say. But the kings of this have certainly lately have been Clemson. Dabo does this all shucks routine, probably better than anybody else. But Auburn's done it forever. But I don't think that's what Georgia is. I think there's a big difference, not just geographically, but mentally between Alabama, Georgia, Florida, LSU, and Clemson and Auburn. Clemson and Auburn don't view themselves. First of all, they're not the flagships of their state. They're very sensitive about that. Secondly, they have been under the thumb of everyone traditionally. Now, not in Clemson's case of South Carolina, but certainly of Georgia, of Florida State, of really those two. Clemson really not. I couldn't say North Carolina. I don't think that's true. But they have, when they play Georgia, it's lopsided towards the Dogs. So, and playing Florida State, it's lopsided towards Florida State, although far less lopsided. So they've always been sort of felt like it seemed they act like their little brother, although they're really not. Auburn definitely plays that card. So I think when those two act like they're underdogs, I will allow it for a minute or two. But that gets annoying. The whole routine. Georgia and Alabama and Texas and Florida and LSU, they really don't have that. That's not who they are. I mean, they should be the Yankees or the Braves, however you want to put it. And no one feels bad for Georgia. I don't think anybody feels bad for Texas right now or the Gators or you know. So that's the part to me that's like, hey, let's be what we are. Like if you want to go be an underdog, it's go to Auburn or go to Clemson. I mean, there's nothing wrong with those places. But if you want to be, I don't really cuss on here very much. If you want to be the badass MFer, it's you go to Georgia, you go to Bama, you go to Florida. Those are places where that's what it is, and that's what it should be. But nobody's feeling sorry for anybody, and then it lets this whole thing. It's well, a little bit. It's not dissimilar from ESPN. Like ESPN is the bad MFer on the block. They've been around the longest time, and Fox is trying to be the upstart. Well, nobody feels sorry for Fox, and nobody feels sorry for ESPN. So, I mean, Georgia, they should win. And that they're not number one, they will be. But, I mean, it's irrelevant if they aren't. Just doesn't matter. So, I love it. It gives me content. We're definitely in the silly season, but that's about to end real soon.